Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Normal is broke and common sense is weird, so we are here to help you transform your life. From the Ramsey Network and the Fairwinds Credit Union Studio, this is The Ramsey Show. I'm John Delony, joined by Jade Warshaw. Taking your calls, 888-825-5225. Let's go to Charlotte, North Carolina, and talk to Alyssa. What's up, Alyssa?
Hi, you guys. Thanks so much for taking my call. I appreciate what you guys do so much.
Of course. Thanks for calling in. What's up?
Okay, so the simple question is, we are wondering, my husband and I are wondering if there is any way, and how you might suggest the best way is to get out a car lease early. We have no consumer debt other than this car lease, which we refer to as our stupid tax. But we are expecting a baby, and just found out from early on, and just reevaluating our budget, and have known for a while that this car lease, wasn't the best decision, but are now at the point of trying to look into possibly getting out of it, and just have no idea where to start.
Okay. How much is the lease? What do you pay every month?
We pay $4.99 a month, and we have about 22 months left on the payment schedule. And the buyout amount is about $29,000.
Ooh, okay. And do you have any money saved anywhere?
We do. So we have about $15,000 liquid. But the two things with that, one, we are expecting, and I am a high risk pregnancy, and so I have type 1 diabetes. So there's just some interesting things with pregnancy there. And then two, we do have, of that $15,000, we have thought, well, if we are able to get out of the lease, we'll need at least a portion of that to purchase a car. So those are kind of our only two thoughts there.
Oh, so if the only cash you have, is that basically your emergency fund right now?
That is. Yeah,
okay.
correct.
So if you got out of this lease, you'd have to take a chunk of that to buy a car for you and this new baby, right?
Yeah, correct.
Ooh. Well, let me put you on pause for a second, because the truth is I wouldn't do anything today with this. You are in stork mode. I would not jump into that savings. You need it there. That's cushion. That's for your peace of mind. And you've been paying this $4.99 payment. I'd pay it a little bit longer until the baby comes. When does the baby get here?
9 months. So we're brand new.
Oh, it's brand new.
Just found out.
What's your husband earn?
He is in sales. He earns about safely 80, but this past year was actually closer to 100. So, but safely, 80,000.
And you're high risk. Are you able to work through the pregnancy or any portion of it?
Yeah, I'm working. Yeah, I work from home. I work remote, and I'm able to do that throughout the pregnancy. Our hope is for me to go part-time. If the only thing that is preventing us from me going part-time is this stupid lease.
Dadgummit. And what do you make when you work full-time?
I make about 70.
Okay.
So we're just stacking cash right now. I mean, that's our plan. Yeah.
What other debts do you have?
Nothing.
Oh, that's the only debt.
Sorry, besides a mortgage.
Okay. So is it possible that on $150,000 you can cut back a couple of areas so that this paying this lease feels a little more tenable, and in the meantime you continue stacking cash, whatever extra margin that you have? Because I don't like the idea of you going down to no emergency fund and then feeling the pressure of having to stack that up very quickly. Do you see what I'm saying? Because you are going to have to get a new car if you do that.
Right.
And that's the part I don't like.
One thought, which I have a feeling you're going to say no, we do have, both of us do have Roth IRAs.
No. It's not desperate.
Okay.
It's not desperate times, right?
You're
so we don't
annoyed.
need to get to desperate measures.
Yeah. I didn't know if mine we just have 7,000 in, so it's not a huge amount. So I didn't know if you'd say, that might be good to just.
No, because it's locked in.
Okay.
It's locked in. And by the time you take it out, not only are you going to have to pay taxes and, penalties on it, but if you just up and pull that money out and take it out like a contribution, you're going to pay a 10% penalty. So I would not touch that money.
On a Roth IRA, you pay a 10% penalty?
Well, are you talking about just pulling out the money that you've invested, not the growth?
Yeah, I'm talking about the contribution, just $7,000 that we put into it.
I still would not do that.
My Roth IRA.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. You could pull that money out and not have anything attached to it, but I wouldn't do that for the simple principle of you're in a situation or a season of life where you're changing your behavior with money. And what that means is I'm going to start doing the smartest things as I possibly can with my money.
Sure,
and
right.
You know
with
what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. So once you know the information, just abide by it.
So last question, is there a world in which you would suggest getting like a smaller loan, like refinancing the lease or going to like a credit union or something like that to get
I was thinking about that, but here's where you're at. You would still be out your emergency fund, right? Because you'd have the $15,000 and then we'd have to come up with another $9,000 to fill the gap.
Right. That's where we were thinking about the Roth, but you're saying no.
No. And it doesn't solve your problem. For me, your biggest problem is you need cash when the baby comes and you need as much cash as you can because to your point,
sure.
It's not just the baby anymore. You're at a high risk status too. So if I were in your shoes, I'd want my deductible
I want
put aside.
Every penny I can have,
I'd want the family deductible put aside. I'd want money set aside. So if we need meals and extra help, all of those things, because you just never, don't get me wrong. I wish you nothing but the best, but you just never know how these situations go.
Or suddenly 2 months in, you can't work. You got to go on bed rest because your diabetes gets up. So yeah, I think Jade, this is the first time in years of doing the show, I've ever told somebody stay in the lease.
Well, at this point, listen, if you called me today and there was no baby, I would consider saying, hey, go down to the credit union, get a $15,000 loan, so that you have the money, you can buy this thing out. Yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat. But I'll be honest, even with your numbers, it's close. And the reason I say it's close because I'm like, okay, you'd have to take out a $15,000 loan. Then you'd have to turn around and take, I don't know, $5,000 or $8,000 more just to get a vehicle. And you'd end up pretty close to where you are now. So that's the only reason I don't even know that I would mess with it. I think that I would just start stacking up the cash to buy it out.
Yeah, and we have stripped out our budget to bare minimum. I mean, once we hit that store, we were like, okay, everything goes, the YouTube TV, our car wash subscription, like everything goes.
Yeah.
But it's just this pesky, it's just a lingering amount that we're just hoping to, get rid of. But that might just be our stupid tax.
Honestly, it is because when you really run out the math on both sides, it's not really worth it to go and get that loan from the credit union and then have to add more cash to it. It's just at that point, I'd say, hey, just pay the thing off. Because here's the thing. In this next 9 months, you're going to stack up a bunch of money. And as soon as this baby is born and everybody comes home healthy, you're going to completely buy this lease out. If you want to, by then you might think, oh, well, we'll just run it out. And then from there on, we'll just buy a car in cash.
Yeah, we're going to turn it in and buy a car. Yeah, That's exactly our plan. Yeah.
Hey, it's a good question. And I love that you're thinking about it. I would just take a chill pill, push pause for now, and get it rolling in 9 months.
And never lease a car again. I know that's, you already know that.
It's the most expensive way to operate a vehicle.
Exactly.
Period.
Yeah.
Listen, identity theft doesn't just happen just because you're careless. You can do everything right and still become a victim, whether your information is skimmed online, stolen through a scam, or exposed in a data breach, which happens every day. Then it becomes your problem, your time, your money, your paperwork galore. That's why I've told people for years to have identity theft protection, and the only plan I've ever recommended is from Xander Insurance. Xandr monitors for signs of fraud, even home title fraud, and they send alerts when something looks off. Most important, if something happens, you're not stuck spending hours on hold, filing forms, and arguing with companies trying to fix it. Xandr's dedicated restoration team steps in and does the hard work to help restore your identity. You can even protect your kids for free on their family plan. Go to Xandr.com or call 800-356-4282 to protect yourself today. Identity theft is everywhere. Xandr is how you fight back. Xandr.com.
All right, let's roll out to one of my favorite places in the United States, San Antonio, Texas. Man, they do queso right. And let's talk to Harley. What's up, Harley?
Hey, John. Hey, Jade. I'm so excited to talk to you guys.
You too, man.
I think my question's right in your wheelhouse.
Perfect.
I'll just dive right in. So I'm getting married to the love of my life in about 30 days.
Gross.
And at which point, I know, right? So at that point, we're going to move in together. We're going to combine finances. We both want to combine finances. We both want to be totally united as a couple. I'm the nerd and she's the free spirit. So for myself and for everyone at home, could you guys just go over some of the reasons why we combine finances with our spouse, some of those benefits that come with being united? And then for myself, how do I engage her on this topic without sounding preachy and in a way that kind of excites her? Like, how do we set these shared goals and run after them together? We want to save for a house. We want to have kids, maybe set her up to stay at home too.
Very cool. The first thing I would tell you is there's some what I would call nerd work. There's some research data that some researchers went down the rabbit hole and trying to see if was there a causal or a correlative link between couples who shared their accounts and couples who didn't. And not to our surprise, but to surprise out in the world, there was. Couples who shared a single account were forced to make planning decisions together. And because there was the artificial environment that was the research study, there wasn't a way out of it. So they'd agreed to do this. And so that forced them to sit down at a table and figure out, what do we value? Organic foods or non-organic foods? This kind of car, that kind of car. The temperature at 78 or the temperature at 72, which is going to cost us an extra this much money every month. They were forced to have those kind of conversations that so many couples just blow by. And their relationship quality was higher. And so I think the in and of itself, sharing the account, that isn't the magic sauce. What's the magic sauce is it forces you to have big, real, authentic, deep conversations about how y'all are going to do life together. And that leads to your next question. The fact that you already have this level of self-awareness is pretty impressive. Most people call us 7 to 10 years into their marriage and they're like, we hate each other because he always tries to hit me over the head with his spreadsheets, or, she wants to look at spreadsheets and I just want to go, buy Pokemon cards or whatever. And so the fact that you already know, like, oh, I can be a lot with my spreadsheets, and she likes to have really nice things all the time. The fact that you already know that now, that's a good thing. Dave has taught this for years, and he passes this wisdom along, and I'll pass it along to you. He says when you're combining it for the first time, and one of you's like a dyed-in-the-wool nerd, and one of you is a free spirit, the nerd makes the first pass of the budget, and then, to quote Dave, they pass it across the table, and then they shut their mouth, and they let their spouse look at it, and there's going to be what I would call principled things like, hey, you have $19 a week for us to eat on. Actually, I've been to a grocery store. Food costs $300 a week. So we have to adjust that. And so there's the practical changes, right? You have $9 a month for water bill. I like to shower more than 32 seconds. And you're like, we're nerd family. We can get done with showers quick, right? And so then there's a practical. And then there's the, hey, what if we enjoyed our life too? What if we lived? What if we smiled sometimes? And as a nerd, you're like, no smiling, just savings, right? And so it's you saying, hey, I made a first pass at this, but your voice at this table really matters. And both of you have to practice letting each other speak up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I kind of figured maybe that would be a good way to do it, but I didn't want to come off as like, here's my idea and what I think we should do, and do you agree?
Well,
and
the conversation,
have a voice.
The conversation before that is you going first with, I'm a nerd. Would it be cool if I made a first pass at a budget and I'm going to hand it to you because I know I'm going to miss some stuff like joy and fun and laughter and meals, and I want you to be fully at this thing, right? And if she says, yeah, that'd be awesome, then that's fantastic. If you think she's going to look at it and she's already nervous to challenge you and she's just going to hand it back and say, it looks fine, Dave would say, I'll say, she has to change at least one or two line items. Like, get in the practice of, I'm going to change something. And
sure, that makes sense.
You get in the practice of smiling and saying, I'm glad you're here, right? Not, well, I did the research and that kind of thing, right?
Absolutely. Definitely.
What do you think, Jade? What am I missing here?
I mean, I think you're right. I mean, yeah, a lot of the data does show that the couples that combine their money, they just have a higher relational satisfaction. And I mean, I can tell you anecdotally, I really think it's because it's like that scripture, where your treasure is, your heart is there also. And I think that when you combine money and you see people's spending habits and you see the things that they value and you see their little quirks, it causes you to get to know them better.
Right.
And you go, oh, okay, it's so weird that she only, like, to your point, it's so weird she only buys, the national brand. She never buys, the knockoff brand. And then you can ask questions about that. Like, you just get to know each other better. You figure out, this is what they value, this is what they don't value, this is what, is a trigger for them, this is not what this doesn't trigger them. I just think that that's such a cool thing to have from the very beginning, and it costs you nothing. Yeah. Just put your name on the account and then just let it fly.
Harley, have y'all ever lived together?
No.
Okay, so it's going to astonish you that what you used to accomplish with one bottle of multi-purpose soap, she has 19 different bottles that do different things.
Oh, yeah.
And don't question it.
Yeah.
And you have one half-used tube of lotion that you got from a hotel once. She's got 117 different lotions. It's all like, right? But it's all these you don't even know, right? And she's going to probably want you to wash socks and underwear like after every time you wear them, right? And not once a month like you're used to.
And grouped with the right colors, please.
Exactly. So all this stuff is like part of those. It's the conversations beneath the conversations that almost always go undiscussed. And it leads to her going, ugh, and you going, geez. And then you look up and 2 years of ugh and good grief. And one of y'all putting the thermostat up and the other one putting it down without telling the other person. It builds this, it tills the soil for resentment. And having this beyond just something as simple as is joining accounts, man, it changes your life. I'll also say this, you want to be a real gangster? Ask her if she wants to go ahead and keep her bank.
Interesting. Oh, and why is that?
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, if you have a case for my bank is superior to your bank and what, like, so be it. But I'm just trying to think of ways that you could be extra hospitable in a situation where she already knows you're kind of the money guy and that's kind of your identity and you're kind of the spreadsheet bro. A way to come in and already say, dude, my whole life is going to be in service to you. Is, hey, I'm going to pull all my money out of my bank and I'm going to reroute my direct deposit to your bank. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's great. That's really insightful.
It's just little bitty stuff.
You guys taking my call.
Yeah, you bet, man. And when do y'all get married?
May 23rd.
May 23rd.
That's exciting.
Y'all spending a bunch of money on it? Is it going to be awesome and big?
It's going to be fun. It's going to be nice. We both have good jobs, so we're able to cash flow it. I probably would have set a lower budget, but she was like, well, hey, we want to have something nice, and we can. I said, you know what? You're right. We can. Why wouldn't we do that?
Dude, you're so far ahead of me, brother. That's exciting. Good for you.
But she's also, I'd say she's the free spirit. She is very responsible. She has good habits. It's not blowing things out of proportion. So I think there would be a lot of middle ground for us to be able to meet on and feel like we're both doing the right things.
I think you guys are going to be just fine. I think you're a good guy. I think she's a great lady. And this is going to be good. John, I'll tell you, to me, one of the best things about combining finances is you align on shared goals and you get to build the trust of saying, I do what I say I'm going to do. And my spouse does what he says he's going to do. And that is like relational equity that is so, so powerful on down the line. And it's not just with money. It shows up when you face other hard times. You know you can depend on each other and you know you can trust each other. And that is just one of the many non-financial benefits of combining your finances.
Hey guys, healthcare is one of the biggest stress points in your budget. It's confusing, and most of the time it feels completely out of your control. But there is a better way to handle it. Christian Healthcare Ministries isn't health insurance. It's a health cost-sharing ministry where Christians share each other's medical bills. And it's not a new idea. CHM has been around since 1981. It's predictable and proven, and they've shared over $13 billion in medical bills for their members. Plus, you get more flexibility. There are no network restrictions, and you don't have to wait for open enrollment. Now, let's talk about how CHM helps your budget, because programs start at just $115 a month, and many families save hundreds of dollars a month compared to traditional options. So if you are tired of feeling stuck, check out Christian Healthcare Ministries. Right now, CHM is offering new members a 50% credit towards their first month of membership. Go to chministries.org/budget and use promo code Ramsey. That's chministries.org/budget and use promo code Ramsey.
Buying or selling your home is a big deal, and with all the clickbait, nonsense headlines, and conflicting data out there, it's hard to know what's really happening in the housing market. We're here to make the latest trends easy to understand. Last month, the average 15-year fixed-rate mortgage ticked up a bit to 5.56, but it's still below 6%. If you're financially ready, a small rate increase should not hold you back, especially since waiting could mean facing higher prices as the busy home buying season ramps up. Median home prices went up to $415,000 last month, which is typical for the spring market. And with more homes available and more buyers entering the market, it's a great time to buy or sell. To learn more about the housing market trends and get free tools to help you buy or sell with confidence, go to ramseysolutions.com/market or click the link in the show notes if you're listening on podcast or on the YouTubes. Let's go to Chicago, Illinois and talk to Chelsea. What's up, Chelsea?
Hi.
How we doing?
Doing good. How are you today?
We're doing great. What's going on?
So I've been working through the baby steps. I'm on baby step number 2, and I'm really proud of the progress I've made. I actually keep the quote, live like no one else now, so you can live like no one else later in a couple of places, just so that I stay focused on my long-term goals.
Awesome.
But lately, I've been struggling with feeling like whether it's worth it. I'm a single 30-year-old with no kids, and it's just starting to feel like I'm constantly missing out. I'm saying no to friends, to family vacations, and I'm not putting myself in spaces, right, where I can meet people because I'm not going out, and it's getting really lonely.
How much do you have left?
I still have about $60K in student loans, and then I'm working on my car payment now, which is sitting at about 10, so about 70 altogether.
How much have you paid off so far?
I was at 120 when I started.
Wow, way to go.
You're halfway home. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, how much time? What's the timeline on this 70,000?
I probably should sit down and remap that out.
Yes.
Because I haven't done that for a while now, but I am on year 2 of working this program. Okay.
So I love this question. And hopefully I can say something that'll encourage you. So my husband and I, our timeline was 7.5 years of paying off debt. Now, granted, we were married, and so I had somebody to kind of, look over to when I wanted to fall out. Yeah, somebody to lament with. And yours is a little bit different, but you can find that person. I think that person's out there. But a couple of things that I just want to throw out there to you. Number one, you got to know a timeline. I think for you, even if it's shifting and it's not the same as it was, I think every once in a while looking up and recalculating it and recalibrating it, that just does so much for you. Anytime you can recalculate numbers and it looks a little bit better, that's going to give you a little bit of a boost. Even if it's just a little bit, it's 3 weeks closer than it was. I think that you need to sit down and do that tonight. And anything that you can do to slightly rev up that timeline. So you calculate it out and you're like, oh man. And then you say, well, what would happen if I, added a little side hustle on Saturday? And then suddenly you see the timeline go down a little bit. So I think you could really use the motivation that brings. So that's thing one. And I do think that you also, in that, you need to carve out a couple of milestones that you can build some rewards around. Because when you're in this thing, the average person, John, when they walk the baby steps, they're out of it in 24 months out of baby step 2. That's kind of like on average. It's like a 1.5 to 2 year sprint. When you're one of these people like Chelsea or like me or John, I don't know, how long was yours?
Well, I was an idiot, so it was a long time.
But my point is when it's longer than that 1.5 to 2 year sprint, when you're getting into 4, 5, 7 years,
it's a beating.
It's a beating. And honestly, it's not good for your mental health to say, I don't do anything. I don't go inside of a restaurant. I don't do this. So if you're a person who's beyond that timeline, you need to be thinking, like for Sam and I, it was like, okay, after a certain point, we were sleeping on an air mattress for so long. We're like, hey, we're 4 years in, we're buying a mattress and we're buying a bed, and for crying out loud, right? And then there was I think at the 6 year point, we needed a new vehicle. And so we stopped paying off debt and we bought another vehicle. It was, cash flowed and it wasn't, overly priced. But when you're in a longer stint, you do have to be very intentional about planning, okay, I got to do something to keep myself going. At some points, maybe it's a pizza. At some points, maybe it's like, I'm just going to drive to the beach and have a good time. And I'm not going to stay more than one night in a hotel, but I'm also not going to take a flight, right? At your 4th year, right? So I want you to hear me on that, because at that point, you're not going to, John, you don't disappear from society for 5 years.
Right. And Chelsea, you called something out I think is really important. And I'm challenging you, but I'm challenging you like on your team. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. What does saying no to everybody and everything? Tell me more about that.
So, okay, most recently, I'll say I feel like I'm kind of like failing in my friendships, where they'll be like, oh, I just need like a girls' night. Like today was just so hard. Like, I get all my friends together and they want to go out for
invite them to the crib.
And I'm like, no, I can't, you guys. It's not in my budget. And so I feel like I'm failing in my friendship.
Okay, so this was like a big eye opener for me. When I'm in the same spot you are now. Granted, like Jade, I was married, and so I had someone to be sad with. But I had some buddies who were, when I say light years ahead of me financially, I mean comically light years ahead of me. I was there, like it was brutal. Mm-hmm. But we just started like Monday or Tuesday nights. Everyone would just clean out their fridge, and so I had some of the wealthiest people I knew at the time bringing over half-eaten casseroles, a bottle of wine with like half of a glass left in it. And those ended up being magic Tuesday nights or Monday nights. And everyone would just show up at the house and bring what they had. And there was times I went out and we all hung out and I drank water. I drank Diet Coke, or I had enough in my budget for one drink and that was it. And so it was like, it was like from my meal budget, right? But it was not an excuse to go crazy. It was not an excuse to whatever, but it also was an excuse to withdraw from society. That's because right. Being lonely is gonna kill you too.
Yeah, this is creative. Like this is just you creatively solving that problem. Because I'll tell you this, I think the best hangs are at the house.
Yes.
To your point, it's a potluck. Everybody brings a little something, because then you're just there to chop it up about whatever happened, right? Your girlfriend could talk about her breakup. You could talk about what happened at work, and you just want to be together. It's not about, the egg rolls at Chili's. Right. You know what I'm saying?
And you'll find now, again, like the folks I meet now who you might think are famous or have a big Instagram following, almost all those gatherings are hanging out at people's houses.
Yeah.
People wearing shorts and T-shirts and having a great, great time. And it once you get the hang of the creative spend time with your friends time, man, you look at restaurants differently, and you look at going out all night until 3 a.m. Like, you just look at all that differently, and you actually get rejuvenated from hanging out with your friends. And in your situation, tell people to bring over other friends that y'all haven't met yet. And that can be super weird and awkward and like, oh, that guy's just eyeball. Like, it can. But also, the research tells me that at work and a friend of a friend is a great way to meet people in the new world now, where dating has been so outsourced to apps.
I'm terrified of apps, but yeah.
Good. You should be. Get off of them. They're nonsense. But all to say is, I don't want you to have to think you have to pick a life or a free for all. You can absolutely be buzzing through your debt. Right. And if you have a group of friends who are ride or die with you, they're going to support you. Mm-hmm. And also, you can show up and just say, no, I'm drinking Diet Coke tonight. It's all good.
And let me also say this. I will tell you, after 7.5 years of sacrifice, being on the other side of that and the debt being gone and me being at different phases in my life, I never looked back, John, and was like, man, there was a pair of jeans I wanted back in 2013 and I never got them. Or there was a movie that I wanted to see in the theater and I never saw it. Like, you don't think about it. Like, once the time has passed,
but when you're 40,
passed.
You're 40 and you got your person and you don't owe anybody any money.
Come on.
You can pay for floor seats.
That's right.
The concerts
you can do it up.
Awesome. Yeah, you can do it right.
Buying a home is one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make, but too many people base the decision on opinions or what the market is doing that week.
Churchill Mortgage has been our trusted partner for over 30 years because they do things the Ramsey way. A lot of people think buying a home starts with going to a bunch of open houses. But if you're buying a home the right way, you start with a budget and a trusted guide like Churchill before you even think about house shopping. Churchill will show you the real numbers, not what a bank will approve. Buying before being ready is how people end up house poor and stressed out.
Churchill will tell you the truth, and they won't push you into more house than you need. And once you understand what you can actually afford, you can move forward with clarity and confidence.
So if you're ready to buy a home, choose the right guide and stick to a plan. Go to churchillmortgage.com and get started. That's churchillmortgage.com.
This is a paid advertisement. NMLS ID 1591. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Equal housing lender.
Let's roll out to Pensacola, Florida, and talk to Monica. Hey, Monica, what's going on?
Hi. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Of course. Thanks for calling. What's going on?
I'm 47. My husband is 49. We have 2 teenage daughters. We make a very comfortable income, but 7 years ago, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
Oh, man. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
How's it play out now?
I just recently stopped working.
Okay.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little harder.
Yeah.
But we're technically in baby step 2, cleaning up some financial messes. Mm-hmm. And my question is, so after baby step 3, should we prioritize funding retirement, paying off the house, or like experiences with our daughters while I'm still well enough to travel and things like that?
Yeah, all of the above.
Yeah.
All of the above. You know, tell me more about the baby step 2. Tell me what's left to pay off.
Yeah, we have So at the beginning of the year, I was taking a look at our finances and just realized, I feel like we're treading water constantly. And so I told my husband, we just need to get rid of the stupid credit card. I hate seeing that thing. So we've paid off $7,000 in credit card debt, and then we owe $39,000 in two car loans.
What do you guys earn? You said you live real comfortably. What do you? What's the income?
Yeah, between my husband's military retirement, his VA disability, and then my, I was very fortunate to get a disability retirement from my employer. We earn about $26,000 a month,
and that's never changing.
He has a very stable job.
Did you say $26K a month?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
So his military retirement, that portion, that goes on forever, and your disability will go on, right?
Correct. Until I reach retirement age, which is the problem. I don't know that I will actually reach retirement age.
Right.
And we have 1.2 already in retirement.
Okay. So the good news is, yeah, you're exactly right. You have a wonderful, comfortable income coming in. There's no reason in the world that this $39,000 in cars shouldn't be paid off in the next couple months, like lickety split.
2 months.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I mean, yeah, you're used to, right? You're used to enjoying $26,000 a month, but I think you tighten the purse strings a little bit in several key areas. And I think you can have these cars knocked out, in 3 months and be rolling.
Absolutely.
Now, what about the mortgage?
It's quite high. We have $648,000 left on it.
Mm-hmm. And what's it worth?
It's probably worth about $850.
Okay. So yeah, I think that you're in baby step 3. Well, I didn't ask you. Do you have any liquid cash? Surely you do.
We have some, but we've decided to throw that at the cars. Throw that at the cars this month.
And how much was that?
It was actually not as much as you would expect.
Okay.
It was $13,000.
Okay. So, and that cleared out your liquid cash?
Yes.
Okay. So that's exactly right. I probably would have kept maybe $1,000, but you guys have such a great monthly income. Next check, just pull out $1,000, keep it aside for baby step 1. And yeah, keep chucking away at these 2 car loans right quick. And then you're quickly going to save up 3 to 6 months of expenses. In your case, I would do 6 months of emergency expenses. And then from there, yeah, my whole entire goal would be, of course, we're investing 15%. Of course, we're putting aside a little bit for college. But John, I would set a vacation and experiences fund.
For sure.
And I would just fill that bad boy up. You guys have a lot of expendable cash. And yeah, I would do it up. I would have a great time, because as long as you're doing the things that cause you to be a financially responsible adult, which you are in the process of doing. And that checklist it's 5 things. If you're a person who is living on a budget, which it sounds like you could tighten yours up quite a bit. If you're a person who is debt-free and prioritizing being debt-free. If you're a person who carries the proper insurances. If you're a person who is prioritizing savings in the way of having your baby step 3, making sure that you're putting away for, 15% for retirement, putting extra on your house, right? Your home is a forced savings account. And finally, if you're prioritizing generosity, as long as you're in that land, then yeah, start putting money aside. And yeah, I think that you do need to enjoy life. There's certain things that jump right to the top of the list. You know what I'm saying?
And Monica, I've had the fortune of sitting with a lot of folks who lost loved ones over the years. Okay. And this is anecdotal, so take it for what you want. But I've heard people talking about in their grief about the trip they took. One time me and my husband did X, Y, or Z, or one time I've heard that some. But man, the things I hear over and over again are the meals and the really hard laughs. And so as you're thinking through this idea you have of shared experiences, of course, y'all talk about the vacations y'all want to go on, and I call them the funeral stories, right? Like the one time we all went to Italy or whatever the thing is y'all want to do. But a really valuable way to just extract the soul out of the life you have going for you that's left, right, is schedule a weekly breakfast with your kids one-on-one. Schedule a time that, like, they're going to tell that story that mom, after 7 years, right, and then the next 10 years as this challenging disease slowly took over, we went to breakfast every week. And she always got the same weird pancakes. And I always tried something. Like, those are the stories, right? And so think of the big things, but invest in the little things. And here's the beauty of those little things. They're relatively inexpensive financially. They come at a cost to time and intentionality and planning. But, man, they don't cost a lot of money. And then when the big concert comes to town, good grief, you better go and be on the front row screaming with all you got, right? Because y'all have the resources to do that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! Thank you.
And be careful about. It sounds bananas to most of our listeners because they're sitting here going, "You make $26,000 a month. That's what comes in your house." But you know as well as I do that can just slip through your fingers. So Jade's wisdom on make sure you're budgeting and you're intentional with this money. Y'all will be astonished at how much you actually have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Y'all can be out of debt here, like completely consumer debt. And then ask the hard question. You and your husband go on a one-day retreat and just say, hey, what do we want the next 5 to 10 years to look like? Do we need an $850,000 house or do we want to downsize? Kids are about to go to college. Do you want to go ahead and sell now or we got $250,000 equity in this thing and get a smaller place so that we can spend more intentional time together and not have a mortgage, right? Things like those kind of, what do we want our life to look like the next 5 years, next 10 years is probably long for you, but next 5 years, next 3 years, right? Have that dreaming conversation and set that thing in motion.
Yeah. Thank you.
And will you do me a huge favor for your, it's not doing me a favor at all. It's doing it for your kids. Will you make a regular practice once every 6 months or so, put on the calendar to write them a letter? And if slowly this Parkinson's takes your writing hand, speak it, record it, write your kids a letter, tell them how proud of them you are, write your husband a letter and read it to them. Don't let anything go unsaid. Just cherish the moments you got. It was an honor to talk to you. You're a saint. We'll be right back.
When you've worked hard to buy a car the right way, you paid cash with no payments hanging over your head, the last thing you want is to worry about it every time you drive it. That's why we trust Christian Brothers Automotive as the official auto repair partner of The Ramsey Show. See, most people don't stress about their car because it's older. They stress about it because they don't know what's happening under the hood or trust the people that are working on it. But Christian Brothers Automotive uses digital vehicle inspections. You can actually see what your technician sees and know what's urgent and what can wait. Plus, Christian Brothers stands behind their work with their nice difference warranty, 3 years or 36,000 miles, whichever benefits you more. So if you want real peace of mind with the car you worked hard to own, go to cbac.com/Ramsey. Use the promo code Ramsey and you'll save 10% off your visit, up to $250. cbac.com/Ramsey. See store for details.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show in the Fairwinds Credit Union studio. I'm John Delony, joined by Jade Warshaw. This is The Ramsey Show. Let's go out to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and talk to Madison. What up, Madison?
Hey, thanks for answering my call.
Of course. Thanks for calling. What's going on?
All right, my question essentially is, do we save up for a new car or a new house? Our situation is we just moved cross country, me and my husband and our 2 kids under 2 years old. Both of our cars are old and about to croak, and we're currently renting and have never owned a house before. So we're trying to figure out what to do with our assets.
How much cash do you have saved?
We have about $16,000 of liquid cash. Like, that's kind of like our emergency fund / available spending money.
Well, wait a second now. Wait a minute. Thank you. It can't be both. So just real quick, and then you know what? Why don't you go ahead and finish talking, and then I'll come back to that.
My husband's the one who mainly manages the finances. That's why I said that way.
Oh no!
$12,000.
Strike 2, Madison.
Keep going.
I'm sorry.
No, we're playing. Don't be sorry. We're playing with you.
To be good. I know. $14,000 in a 401k. We've got $2,500 in stocks that my husband manages. 0 debt. 2 cars that we own outright. And then my husband, he just took a new job, and the base salary is going to be $70,000 a year with bonuses.
Cool.
That's kind of the financial situation we have right now.
And you're home with littles?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, kudos on not having any debt. I think that's fabulous. How old are you guys?
I am 24 and he's 26.
Yes, absolutely. So good. 0 debt. Here's where I'm going to give you good news and bad news. Which one would you like first?
Well, good news, then hit me with the bad news.
Okay.
I'm happy. Yeah.
The good news is you're so far ahead of so many people your age because you don't have any debt. You have a fully funded emergency fund. You've got a little bit working in your 401k, and that's a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous place to be.
And you got 2 healthy little kids and a husband that likes you.
And a husband that's, he's got his job cooking. He's starting to take off.
You're winning.
Yes. So please plant that as a very good seed in your brain, because the bad news is you're not really in a position to do either of the things that you said, and you're not far off.
Okay.
It's just I want to reframe that. So let's talk about the emergency fund. Sure. The way we teach and the way that I experience it and what I do in my life and what John does in his life is we set aside money for an emergency fund. And that means we don't touch this money unless it is a flat out emergency, which means it has to meet a little bit of criteria to be discerned as an emergency. It has to be completely unexpected. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this was going to happen. This came out the blue. It needs to be urgent. Like, oh, I got to do this like immediately. And it has to be completely necessary. Like, I must do this thing. So here's what's going on in your mind. I must do this thing today that I had no clue was going to happen. Like, that's how it goes. And so obviously buying a new car or a new house doesn't fall underneath those parameters. So the good news is you are in a position that today you could begin saving up money to do either of the things that you think is more pertinent, whether it's, man, one of these cars is literally like on its last leg. Let's start saving up $10,000 or whatever amount of money you think you want to spend. No more than your vehicle should be no more than half of his annual income. But you could start to do that. But I wouldn't be in a huge rush to buy a house.
No. And Madison, how old are your kids?
They're both under 2. So one's like a year and a half. One is 3 months old.
Wild West.
You've probably already experienced this, but if you haven't, as a father of 2 kids sitting next to a woman who's also got her own 2 kids, I can guarantee you they will use this emergency fund. They will break things. They will set things on fire. They will destroy, like, all of it, right?
Yep.
And so please, please, please give yourself, your nervous system, your home, your marriage, the safety that is having that 16 grand in the bank that we don't touch.
Okay.
Just pretend like it's not there. The second thing is, I want you to give your nervous system, your spirit, the peace it needs and deserves by not just outsourcing the finances to, quote unquote, the finance guy in the house. Y'all need to do this thing together. You need to know where the accounts are. You need to know what bills are paying. Y'all need to be on the same page with your vision for things. The third thing is, I know. I've been there. I wanted my wife to have the nicest car possible when we had little ones. The reality is y'all can't afford the nicest car, and that's okay. And so even if y'all save up the money, buy a 10 grand car or a 15 grand car, not a $45,000 car, because you're building something together, and a depreciating asset won't get you there.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I'd say no more than 15,000 each. Like if you have a car, yours is 15. If he has a car, his is 15. That totals 30. That puts you at that parameter.
And can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah, sure.
I'm super okay being wrong. I'm wrong a lot. The folks on Reddit tell me that. But here's the thing. I'm finishing up a long multi-year project, and something that kept coming up in my conversations with stay-at-home moms, especially young stay-at-home moms, was this feeling of I need to do something. I should be, it's that phrase, I should be in a house. I should be driving a nicer car. I'm not providing any economic value to the house because I don't make a salary, so I need to be fill in the blank. And it just was this sense of this built up, pent up energy that got spent looking for homes we couldn't afford, looking for houses we should probably buy, reading all these blogs telling me why I'm failing at this version of motherhood or that version of wifehood or whatever. Is that your situation at all?
No, I wouldn't say so. I grew up with a stay-at-home mom. My husband did. We're not flashy people. We drive like, older cars. We just know that we've been so blessed, and we're like hyper aware of the head start we were given, and we want to make sure our kids have the same thing. So it's kind of like, what can we do to like be good stewards now, so
Go
our kids
slow.
can be as blessed
Go slow.
as we are.
The tortoise wins every time. Every time you read that book, the tortoise wins.
And all your stuff you have, it's kind of like if there were like different containers that you needed to fill up, you've got a little bit in each container that's ready to grow and ready to keep going. Like you've got a little bit in your 401k, keep doing that. Keep putting 15%. At this point, you're on baby step 4, right? So keep 15% of your husband's gross income every single month into that 401k.
Maybe husband sells his $2,500 in stock that he's playing with, and that's the seed for your new car fund.
Exactly. And yeah, just keep working away at it. And once you've funded the cars that you think you need, then yeah, I would start and I would kind of go back to 3B, which is saving for the down payment of your house. And if you want to do that at the same time as you're investing, you can. Or if you want to unplug investing for 2 to 3 years, you can unplug your investing. That 15%, you could stop that and put that towards your house fund for a little while.
And Jade, I don't know about you, but there's been times that my wife and I save up for a car, and we get that chunk of money in there, and we're both like, hey, the cars are fine. Let's put that on the house. Or let's put that on... Like, once you get that big pile of cash, it's hard just to go throw it in a car sometimes.
True that.
Let me tell you something I see all the time. People are working hard, trying to get control of their money, and then their phone bill shows up higher than expected. Again. And they don't even know why. That's why I want you to switch to Boost Mobile. Here's the truth. Your phone bill should fit your budget, not the other way around. Your wireless company is counting on you just paying it without asking questions. With Boost Mobile, you can unlock big savings compared to the so-called big guys. Bring your phone, keep your number, and pay just $25 a month forever on their unlimited plan. No contracts, no confusing fees, and that $25 price is locked in forever. And if you're skeptical, that's fine. Boost Mobile backs it up with a 30-day money-back guarantee, meaning you can try it without feeling trapped. So stop overpaying for something you use every day. Go to boostmobile.com/Ramsey to make the switch today. That's boostmobile.com/Ramsey.
$25 forever requires customers to remain active on Boost Mobile Unlimited plan.
Let's go out to the ATL, Atlanta, Georgia, and talk to Hannah. Where is Hannah here? I'm trying to find her on the thing. Here it is. Oh, line 2. What's up, Hannah?
Hey, how are y'all?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for taking my call.
You got it. What's going on?
Okay, so I just need some guidance with the situation that I have found myself in. My husband, we've been married 10 years next month, and in January, he very abruptly shut down his small business permanently after about 3 years. After he did that, I found out a few days after he decided to do that, that he was in deep financial trouble with the business. Somewhere between $100,000 to $250,000 is a rough guess that I have. And then found out yesterday that we are about $4,200 behind on our mortgage. We are about, with the business and all, about $40,000 behind in taxes. I got a notice that the water would be shut off today. And then yesterday, got a call that he had about $7,000 owed in a credit card that I didn't know about. And I'm sorry, my voice is shaking.
No, you're
I'm a
good.
little
You're
bit
good.
nervous. And I am home with our 3 children. He left 2 days ago to attend the police academy, and it's completely inaccessible until next week.
Wow.
So, that shaking in your voice, that terror inside your chest, it's right. Okay. Hear me say this. You're not crazy. Okay. We call this here financial infidelity. The trust that was the foundation of your marriage has been turned to ash. Okay, so you feel like you're free fall, and you are. All right, so hear us say that we're with you. Okay.
Okay.
This is a scary, scary situation.
I would also like to throw in here that about a year and a half into our marriage, a very similar circumstance happened. Very similar to what I'm saying. And we worked through all of that. And then about 4 years later, it happened again.
Oh, no.
And worked through it again. And
is it him
here we are
starting
again.
it's him starting businesses and them failing? Or it's just some sort
this
of
is the first time. Yeah, it's just like he had 2 cars with car loans that I didn't know about, and then multiple credit cards I didn't know about, and a lot of purchases and money owed, and just it's been a pattern for our entire marriage.
Does he shut you out of knowing about the finances, or is he just is he saying, here's the account that we're spending money on, and you know everything that's going on with that, but then he goes to the side and just does obviously God knows what? Or are you pretty much like, I'm out of everything?
Now I'm pretty much out of everything because he was using the business account for all of our personal finances, which I'm not on any of.
And how did you have money to spend?
He would transfer money into our personal checking account, which I had a debit card for.
Oh, geez.
Oh, boy. And what, just a little bit a month for you to do what you needed to do?
Any time that I needed to purchase anything, the picture was painted that we had a ton of money. And so if I wanted to go for a shopping day or book a trip or anything at all, it was not a big deal at all.
He would just slide it over to you. Okay.
Here's what I want you to do today. I have a feeling in my guts that this is not the bottom of the mess. That there's more out there.
Unfortunately.
Okay. I want you to pull your credit report, and if you are able to pull his, get his too. And at least get a picture. And if you can't pull his, I don't want you to commit fraud, but I want that to be the first thing when y'all are able to communicate.
Okay.
Because you've got 3 little ones. You need to focus on 4 walls ASAP. Because they're about to take your house. They're about to take your, shut your water off. You're about to shut your electricity off. Right? You're in a 5-alarm fire right now.
Okay.
Do you have access to any cash at all?
Before he left, he gave me about $500 in cash.
But there's no money in a checking account or anything?
I think there's about $100 in our checking account.
Oh my gosh.
Do you have family nearby?
Yes, I do. I do. Sorry.
That's mom and dad or sisters and brothers? What is it?
Just my mom and dad.
Okay. Here's what I'm thinking about, and John, jump in at any point. You've been a stay-at-home mom. Have you been in the workforce at all at any point?
Yes, I'm a registered nurse, but I decided to stay home with our children for a little while.
Okay, fabulous. Because my brain goes to, if you have to exit the situation, how can you stay on your feet? How can you keep yourself afloat? Because it sounds like there's going to be a lot of there. If this comes to a point where it goes before a judge, all of this is going to come out, and it's going to be a lot more there.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure you're okay. And so for me, it's great that if you have family, community, friends around you that can help you for a season of time if you need it. And I love that you have a career path if you have to go back to work. And if kids, end up having to go to daycare or something like that. I feel confident after hearing what you said that you'd be able to make that transition.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
The reality is you need to come up with $5,500 like today.
Okay.
I mean, you've got to write down, and you might call the mortgage company and tell them what's going on, that you're just getting notice of this, and you're going to try to make it right. And just let them know, I'm a terrified, scared, stay-at-home mom. My husband's at the police academy, and I'm just getting all these notices.
Right.
And I would write down, and they'd be my first call since you're behind $4,200. I don't know is that 2 months or 3 months? How far behind is that?
I think it's about 2 months plus fees.
Okay. I would call them and just let them know I hear you. I see this. I'm just getting this like y'all are. And I need to come up with a plan here. And they might give you an extension or a plan. I don't know the terms of your mortgage. I don't know your relationship with your mortgage company. And then I would write down what's the electric bill? How far behind are you? What's the water bill? Like these 4 walls we talk about. Do you have transportation? Do you have electricity? Do you've got water? Do you have a home? Do you have food? Right? And you're at that level. Yeah. And it might be that I don't even think might be. I think you're at a position now. This is scary enough that you need to call your family and say, hey, I got to go start applying for nursing jobs this afternoon. But even then, you won't get a paycheck for another month at the earliest, right? So, but it's like, I need to drop my kids off starting now. And none of this is what you planned. None of this is what you wanted. But you're basically a scared single mom who's in a big, big, big mess because you were betrayed by your husband again and again and again. And so this is just choosing reality. We'll grieve later. Right. We will be sad later. We'll be mad and angry later. I got to go get some money right now. And I would hate for you to run down to the credit union and see if you get another loan because that's the last thing you'll need is yet another pile on, right?
Yeah. The good news is you probably have the cash to keep the water on. You probably have, some food in the house, keep some groceries going. My question, and I'm not trying to get dramatic, for a fact that he went to police academy? Like he's coming back?
Yes.
You have contact with him? Okay. I'm trying to make sure he didn't skip out.
But I mean, that's going to be a $50,000 a year job, right?
I hope so. I think so.
Not while he's in academy. It'll probably be much less than that until he gets out. But even then, that's not going to cover this mess y'all are in.
No.
Right.
And I don't know the fullness, kind of what you were saying about going before a judge and all of that, but he has had some police reports filed, and I've had people locate me on Facebook to try and remedy some business things going on. So someone suggested I get security cameras at my house. So anyway.
It might be time for you to go stay with your family members and leave the house for a bit. And I'm going to ask you to do that. I want you to go stay with your family members, step out of this situation for a minute, and I want you to call an attorney, and they'll walk you through getting to the bottom of the mess. So sorry you're going through this.
If you run a business, you already know this. Bad information leads to bad decisions. And right now, AI is everywhere. But AI is only as good as the data behind it. The best AI is built on the best data. That's why I recommend NetSuite. NetSuite is the #1 AI cloud ERP, and more than 43,000 businesses run on it, including us here at Ramsey Solutions. Their AI isn't bolted on, it's built in. And it connects everything that runs your business. Accounting, inventory, customer data, all in one place. Because when your numbers are connected, AI actually works like it's supposed to. NetSuite's AI helps flag cash flow problems, spot inventory issues, close your books faster, and cut down on manual reporting. If your revenue is at least 7 figures, go to netsuite.com/Ramsey for a free product tour. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Yo, we get thousands of calls and emails for folks trying to be on the show. We wish we could get to every call and question here. But if you have a money question and you want an answer for your situation, head over to our website and use Ask Ramsey. Ask Ramsey is our free AI tool that's built and trained on this show. It's got proven Ramsey principles that will answer some of your money questions and get you where you need to go. You'll get an answer the same way we'd answer it right here on the show. Ask your question today at RamseySolutions.com or just click the link in the description if you're listening on podcast and YouTube. Let's go out to Lexington, Kentucky and talk to Lisa. Hey, what's up, Lisa?
Hi, how are you all doing? Thank you so much for taking my call.
You bet. Thanks for calling. What's going on?
Yeah, so how do my husband and I have the conversation, or should we try to have a second conversation with my father-in-law about the importance of getting life insurance? Just a little backstory, he's the sole income earner for their family. My mother-in-law has been a stay-at-home mom for the last 20-some-odd years, and my brother-in-law, who has some disabilities and is unable to work, lives with them as well. My father-in-law, he's kind of the impression that, you can always get it later. It's not important right now. Just doesn't have a good opinion on it. And so as me and my husband, we have life insurance. We see the value of it. My mother-in-law, she was like, hey, tell me about life insurance. What should I be looking for? What should I not be looking for? And so we're not just wanting to give unsolicited advice to them. So just how do we have a second conversation, or how should we approach the subject?
Well, it sounds like there's two things going on. One is mom is feeling exposed. I'm worried about
100.
dad. And then dad is saying, I don't really care if she feels exposed. I'm not doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't have any consumer debt. They just have their mortgage. She said that they've been shopping for life insurance. They have a person that's looking for them. And they, brought up the idea of mortgage insurance, but the value that they were being told and that he's convinced about, it's not even going to cover their mortgage.
Well,
so she would have to get
and the problem with that is you still have a stay-at-home mom and a special needs son.
Yeah.
They need income.
Correct.
Right? So I'll tell you, this is going to sound like an ad, but I was using Xander insurance for my term life insurance for me and my wife for years before I even thought about coming over to Ramsey, because I trust him. And then when I got to Ramsey, Xander's who we endorse and who we've been talking about for years and years and years, but that's where I would go. And Xander tops, this is going to sound like a commercial. Xander, they shop all of the top companies and or many of the top companies to find you the best price. They work for you, not for the insurance companies. And so they're going to bring you, here's how much money you got, here's how old you are, here's how expensive it's going to be, here's the price. And depending on his age and all that, it's going to factor into it. But that's not where I would go, that's where I did go.
Yeah. I would bring your husband into this.
Yeah, it's his conversation to have with it.
Yeah, he's fully in it. He had a conversation with his father, and his father kind of he blew up and he got mad about it. And he was saying that, it's only greedy people that have life insurance. And he believes that it's this crackpot idea. And we're like, but no, it's because you love people and because you want to make sure that the people that you care about, as you all say, you want to solve for peace. Mm-hmm. You want to make sure they have peace when they're grieving, right? You don't want to add to it.
I've sat with people who lost their husbands and they've got nothing. And they're looking at going to work on Monday.
Right.
I mean, it's a harrowing experience sitting with a widow who realizes, oh, we got nothing. This kind of, like, I'm going to be honest with you, this kind of ego in older men pisses me off at a way I can't even comprehend, because they're going to bleep me because the show's on the radio. I get so mad at this kind of arrogance and ego and dismissiveness of your wife, your special need kids. Like, it makes me infuriated. But here's the deal. Y'all can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and I'm just curious because, if Ken were here, he would say to just ask questions instead of saying, you need to do this, you need to do that. A couple of well-placed and well-thought-through questions that you just let hang in the air when you say, okay, if the worst happens, Dad, and, on the way home you get in an accident, how is Mom going to pay the mortgage? How are, I don't know what the brother-in-law's name. How are we going to take care of little Bobby? How are we going to, I'm just wondering what your plan for that is. Or have you considered what your plan for that is? Right? Maybe come up with one or two questions that your son can ask at the right time with Dad. It's not in the middle of a heated argument. It's not, when they're already talking about one thing and now he brings this up too. It's, they go to breakfast, they go out, just the two of them. And at the right time, he says, we've had a lot of questions. We've had a lot of conversations about this. I'm just wondering, and he asks the two questions and just let it sit there.
And his dad might look at him and say, she's going to be your problem. Right? That may happen.
Yeah.
And then to which he can say, no, that's not an option. You're going to have to come up with something.
But I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, me and my husband were both firstborn kids. Like my mom currently lives with us. So we've kind of taken that on ourselves. We're both very financially stable. So like we've kind of prepared ourselves for that. If we do have to take care of my husband's mom as well, like we would be able to. But again, like that's
we want them to take care of themselves.
Our job. It's supposed to be her husband. You know?
Well, and here's the deal. It's just. It's choosing reality.
Yeah.
Right? It should be. And he's looking at y'all and looking at his wife and saying, nope, I'm not going to. Which again, I just cannot wrap my head around that kind of ignorance and ego. But it is what it is. So we're going to choose reality. And we're going to start making that play.
Control them.
And I think you've got a tiny crack in the door in that Mom asked for it. So I'm going to give Mom the Xander contact for term life insurance. Do not buy some nonsensical whole life policy. And,
no. Trust me, I've been listening to you all long enough.
Yeah, you know it. You know the deal.
Yeah, we're going to send it on to them, and we're going to go from there.
Let me tell you something, John. I'm getting frustrated because I feel like the top two calls that we've been getting lately, and I'm not picking on men. I'm just telling you what I'm getting. The top two calls are a wife who calls in and her husband is either locking her out of the money, doing something shady with the money. She's kind of been, removed little by little from the situation. And now like all hell is breaking loose. Or it's families who the parents cannot get their act together.
Yeah.
And they're leaving and burdening their children with things that they should be taking care of themselves as adult grown people with grown jobs and grown houses. Yeah. And I'm just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Get your life together. Get your act together. What's going on? That's my question for the heads of families here is what are y'all doing? You need to get yourself together.
I can't wrap my head around. I mean, I can't. I'm going to sound like a broken record. I can't get my head around the arrogance and I can just come up with words.
Your daughter-in-law should not have to call into a national YouTube and radio show saying he doesn't care enough about his own wife to take out coverage that's going to cost him, I don't know, $300 a quarter.
My father-in-law has such deep-seated arrogance that when his son came to him, he blew up and threw a third-grade temper tantrum because he couldn't handle a hard conversation with his son.
Well, that's the through line is arrogance. It's arrogance on both of those spectrums.
Yeah. And by the way, for folks listening, The previous segment, we had a caller, her name was Hannah, and talking about the financial mess and multiple issues. And as the call kept going on and on and on, she brought up issues of personal safety and maybe she needs to get security cameras. I want everyone listening to know off air, we obviously circle back and providing her with some resources, and we'll do our due diligence when it comes to paying for financial coaching for her and things like that, but also with contacting local police and authorities, because a woman with 3 young kids does not need to be worrying about, should I go get security cameras, because the mess that my awful, terrible husband has left me in has now jeopardized our safety. So just know, listeners, we're taking care of folks behind closed doors too. We're not just going to leave people hanging. Fathers, husbands, take care of your families. That's how low the bar is. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Jade, my blood pressure's still up.
Listen, mine is too, but at the end of the last segment, we kind of went in on dads, men needing to step up. But let me also say, for the ones that do, because it's such a blessing. And we were talking over the break, I was telling him about something that Sam, my husband, did that is like just showing up, just doing the best you can. And if you do have, I'm totally taking this from you. If you do have a man in your life that is a real man, like doing the best he can, leading for the family, financially, doing all the transparent, please tell him, please go home today and be like, thank you. Thank you for being the opposite of what sometimes calls into the Ramsey show. We need men like that. We need leaders like that. We're grateful for you. Keep doing what you do.
And I'll just say, from my brothers out there, the bar is so low. Show up. Like, just show up. Show up. When she calls and says, hey, I got you. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
And it's just, yeah.
Put your ego aside, man. And by the way, when you set your ego down, life is so much more fun. It's so much more fun.
Yes, to just let somebody see who you really are.
Yes. That's all I'll say. All right, let's roll out to Atlanta. Let's go back to Atlanta and talk to Chelsea. What's up, Chelsea?
Hello. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for calling. What's going on?
Yes, I'll go ahead and just back you up and say that we are in a positive marriage, a very great marriage, and
hey, Chelsea, what's his name?
Positive financial experience.
Good.
What's his name?
Forrest.
Shout out, Forrest. Shout out.
That's what I'm talking about.
Shout out good men on this show. All right, so what's going on? How can we help?
Yeah. So we've been working through the baby steps. We've paid off all of our debt. We have our emergency fund created. We jumped ahead and already have 529s going for our 2 children, and we have a 3rd on the way.
Way to go.
Thank you. But so we're on baby step 4, technically, with the investments, trying to save 15%. And I guess I'll ask the question and then kind of explain, but my overall question is, does it ever make sense to work on baby step number 6 in the mortgage before completing the 15% for investments?
Oh, you're talking my language. Go ahead.
Why is that? Tell me the reason behind it.
So it makes sense in my head, but
it always does.
I am a stay-at-home mom, but I also do freelance marketing. So I'm bringing in about $2,500 a month, and then my husband makes about $125,000 a year. With his company, he has a 401k 4% match that he participates in. He also has an ESPP company stock program. So he puts 10% away to that every month or every paycheck, but then every 6 months, he gets a 15% discount for the company stock if you were to sell it.
How quickly does that vest?
Previous years, sorry?
How quickly does that vest?
I'm not sure. Okay, so I'm not sure if I understand that question.
Sometimes with stock, option purchases when you're able to buy stock from the company, you have to sit on it for 24 months before you can turn around and sell it. Sometimes you can buy it and then sell it the next day. Usually if you're buying at a discount, they don't let you do that though.
Okay, yeah. So it's every 6 months. So he participates in it. Every paycheck takes 10%. And then it's every July 1st and every January 1st you can sell it for a 15% discount.
Okay, so and
that does have capital gains tax if this is maybe answering your question.
Well, I don't care about that. How much is in that account right now?
Right now there's about $15,000, I think.
Okay.
So
because generally this has been our house project fund, as how we had to get new siding, we had a new deck, things that would help us not go into debt if we use this. But now our house is at a good place, so we're thinking it's either investment or putting it to the house.
Well, I think you've got to recalibrate on your investing, because you've got 10% going towards a single company stock, which is not what we would suggest. I hear you on the 4% 401k. So you're investing 4% there. Your company is matching it. I would not put the other 10% in the company stock. I would put the other 10% in the 401k.
Even if it's a very good, well-known.
Yes, even if it is, because
I don't know if I should drop it.
No, don't
drop the name. But a good investment is diversified.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, I just had this with a close personal friend of mine. Got a stock option windfall of $225 a year ago, and I said it was a single stock, and it was this whole, you could move it over here, and I said, hey, cash it out now, sell it. And they said, are you crazy? We're making these investments. And this is a global company. That person just recently called. We were talking on the phone and said, bro, that stock is at 160 now. Should have listened to you. And so it doesn't matter how good they're telling you it's good. We're doing this and we're stable. When you're sitting on a single stock,
there's no checks and balances.
Yeah, it's just up or down. And I have a personal lived experience. My mom worked at this tiny little company called Enron, which I think was the fourth biggest company on the planet. And it went away over a weekend, right? And so I am big on, if you get one single company stock and they give you a deal to buy in on it, great. And the moment you can vest it, cash it out and either put it in retirement or use it to pay down your house or whatever, but get out of that stock, because just holding it a single stock with all that money, man, you were playing roulette.
Yeah, if I could recalibrate this today, I would make it to where you're investing the 10% along with the other 4% into the company 401k. And, if you max that out, then you can move over to a Roth IRA. You can do one, he can do one. And then if there's a little bit of money left, or if there's, something that he's required to do, that's fine. But I would change that lickety split, because you don't want all of your money tied up in this. And if you're saying, well, we're still investing in the 401k, you're only investing 4%. And our rule here is, if there's a match, it's a fantastic thing, but we really just consider that gravy. Like, we really want you working the muscle of 15%, because what if he switches jobs and there is not a 4% match, right? Or what if something changes with your situation? So we always want you kind of in the driver's seat of what you're doing with your money. And yeah, consider that 4% like gravy on top of a biscuit, is what Dave Ramsey would say.
How much do you have left on your mortgage?
So we have $252,000 left on the mortgage. And we are also, I should say, we put $100 a month. I know it's not much, but $100 a month to his personal IRA as well.
Okay.
And then overall investments, we probably have over about $200,000 in all of our investments right now.
Are you putting that in a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA?
A Roth.
Okay,
Roth
great.
IRA.
200, does that include the stock and the stock you have on the side?
The $15,000, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, if I were you, whatever company stock you do have, I'm with John. I would, cash that out. Maybe that goes towards your mortgage.
Or that goes in your Roths, and you can max them both out this year and call it like. Because here's what it sounds like you're doing. It sounds like you're putting in 4% of your own money into a retirement vehicle, and then you're taking approximately the rest of the 15% and you're just putting it into a stock, and y'all are using that stock as like kind of like a glorified emergency fund-ish to deal with house stuff.
Right, which we're done with now, and we want to do well with it. So even if we didn't do the ESPP at this point, though, I think maybe my question might still stand if I can ask that too.
The original one about paying off the mortgage first?
Yes, just because thinking about even if we did the 10% just to regular either 401k or the Roth IRA, we would still need about $400 a month from our budget somewhere in order to hit the 15%.
That's right.
And I don't know where we would exactly get it right now. Like there would be
so
pennies and whatnot.
Definitely. And you might have to pinch pennies. So one thing about the baby steps is just because you've paid off your debt and now you're starting to invest, it doesn't mean that you're all of a sudden rolling in a bunch of extra money because you're now investing 15%. So you're going to have to get to your budget and take a look at this, because what I don't want is for you to say, it feels better to pay off the mortgage instead. And before you know it, you look up and you've neglected your investing. The mortgage is going to get paid off. You're going to find little bits of money here and there. I'm sure he makes bonuses that you can pay this off.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show in the Fairwinds Credit Union studio. I'm John Delony, joined by the world-famous Jade Warshaw, taking your calls on your money, your life, your relationships, everything. 888-825-5225. Let's go out to Fort Worth, Texas, and talk to Allison. Hey, Allison, what's going on?
Hi, Dr. John. Hey, Jade. How are you guys?
We're doing awesome. Great. What's up?
Well, I've found the Ramsey information somewhat recently. So although we're in a pretty good spot financially, I really appreciate that it's prompted me to kind of look at our whole financial picture and realize that we need to go back and readjust some things or fill in some gaps. So thank you for all that you do with that.
Very cool. Welcome to the cult. Welcome.
And I realize I have a question about 529s that I haven't heard you guys address before.
Okay.
We have opened up a 529 account for each of our kids when they were young. And we've been very blessed that each set of grandparents wants to help us save for the kids' college. One set of grandparents will make contributions directly to the 529s that we have opened, and the other set of grandparents has opened their own account for each child.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
And I'm unsure of is there any kind of logistical
I'm going to set you free.
Be aware of
are you ready?
When, sure.
I'm going to set you free. It's their money, and they're choosing to do it that way. Mm-hmm. And so I would open my hands to it, and I would get with my spouse and plan as though that money won't be there.
Okay.
And because fighting them over it, it just is that way, and for whatever reason, that's how they've chosen to do it with their money. And I would just say, "Great, cool."
Well, I don't think it's a bad thing.
No, it's not, but it's just how they're doing it, and trying to talk to them about it or discuss it about. It just is what that is. I don't know though, Jade. I don't know the logistics of can a grandparent open a 529 for a kid and a parent open a 529 for a kid, and both of those accounts be used to pay for the same kid? I don't know the answer to that question.
So like the way that ours is, my mother-in-law opened it because it was something she was gifting before Sam and I, well before we were out of debt, and then so she technically was the owner on the account, and then she set up me and my husband as like. We would be owner in succession.
Or whatever, yeah.
Like if she died or something, we'd become the owner. But we all have access. We can all add money into the account. And then the kids are set up as the beneficiary. So that's just kind of the way it's been. And I don't know if we transferred it at some point into our name, but I think it's still in her name. And it doesn't matter because she's not using it. She's, 63 years old.
And Allison, I got to tell you, I'm super biased. I worked at universities for like 20 years. And so the number of students I met with and parents I met with who had a grandparent holding a checkbook saying my grandkid's going to study X, Y, or Z, and they're not going to be in this program, and they're going to go to this school. man, I was just like, dude, if anyone wants to try to play puppeteer over my life with their checkbook, I'm out. And so take my bias for what it is, right? If they hold this account, just assume it's their money and they're going to want to steward it how they best see fit. And that might be turning it over to the parents and saying, wherever junior wants to go to college, that's awesome. Or whatever junior wants, trade school or whatever wants to study, great. But they might use it as, no, my grandkid's going to this school if they want my money. And you can say, cool, we've already made other arrangements. So my answer has a big bias to it, but that just is what it is.
Which that would be, I mean, if they did that, listen, we've heard all sorts of calls on this radio, so anything's possible. But if they did, it would be such a waste because then it's like, well, they're not going to that school. So now what you got to do? But, the good news is you can have multiple 529s that fund a single student. Like, that's fine. It's no problem if you've got one over here, one over there, and one over there. Do you sense that that's what they're trying to do? Or are they just like, hey, it's a financial thing. We want to do our thing over here. We don't want to mingle it up. I get that.
I don't believe that there's any kind of ill intent in it. They're being very generous, so we definitely appreciate that. I think I was more a potential concern, like, I don't know the logistics around. I saw somewhere when this one's opened, which was, maybe close to 10 years ago. So I don't know if laws have changed since then. But that if a child received money from an account other than the parents directly, that it counted as income for them, and it could somehow, either affect taxes or financial aid or something like that. So are you aware of anything along those lines?
I'm not.
I've not heard that.
Okay.
That sounds too vague for me to form a clear opinion on it. I would just double check whatever your question is, like form a clear question around that. I mean, if the money is used for education expenses, there shouldn't be an issue. Now, what you said about financial aid, I'm not sure what you're trying to like.
I wouldn't play that game at all. Anyway, yeah.
I'm not sure what you're trying to accomplish there. So
okay. Got it.
The goal would be pay cash, use the 529s, use them up, and be grateful to whoever's contributed.
Yeah, wants to put some money on your kids' cash. Yeah. And let's say there is a tax liability at some point down the road. It's still going to be far less than tuition was, right?
There shouldn't be if they're using it for education expenses. Now, if they're just pulling it out, if you're pulling it out, you're going to be on a 10% penalty for sure, and that's going to be income taxed.
But hey, Allison, can we just tell you, welcome to the gang?
Thank you. Yeah, it's listen to you guys all the time, strolling the baby around the neighborhood and doing chores in the house. So I've really appreciated all your advice.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for calling. We're really grateful.
Hot take.
I was going to say, hot take is I probably should dial back some of my biases. I just have so many experiences that taint my rosy picture of the world sometimes.
Well, I was going to ask your hot take on 529s. What do you think about when you are with friends and it's like a gift giving situation, like a birthday or Christmas, and they're like, just give to my kids 529 plan, and they're like sending you a link? Good or bad?
I had a buddy.
Yay or nay?
One of my closest friends in the world, the guy who's the executor of my will. He opened an account when Hank was born and said, at the time, and this was right. He's like, I don't super trust you, so I am starting an account for your kid, and every year on his birthday, I'm going to add money to it. And when he goes to school, I'll pass it along. So it was a cool, generous, awesome thing.
Yeah.
And
I mean, like it's Hank's birthday.
And I'm going to send out a link.
And you send out a link that's like,
I'm
hey.
probably not doing that.
Donate to my kids 529.
Yeah.
Is it tacky or hacky?
What do you think?
I think it's tacky.
I go with a big capital T.
I think it's tacky.
Yeah.
I know someone who's done it.
Let's give their name and address on the air.
I may have hosted with them.
I can tell you.
Listen.
Does his dog have a wheelchair?
You got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. That's all I'm going to say.
No, I'm going full tacky on that one. And he knows who he is. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, Dave Ramsey here. Every day on this show, we help people work through real money problems and figure out what to do next. Now, you can get that same kind of help anytime with Ask Ramsey. Ask your money question and get answers built on Ramsey principles we use on the show. Whether you're making a decision or just want something explained, Ask Ramsey is here to help. It's fast, simple, and free to use. Go to RamseySolutions.com and try Ask Ramsey today. That's RamseySolutions.com.
The Ramsey Show question of the day is brought to you by Why Refi. Defaulted private student loans can leave you feeling stuck and overwhelmed, but Why Refi helps you explore refinancing options with a low fixed rate and a payment based on what you can actually afford. Visit whyrefi.com/Ramsey. That's the letter Y, REFY.com/Ramsey. May not be available in all states.
Okie dokie. Today's question comes from Jared in Wyoming. He says, I realize that money is a personal topic and it can be volatile. But when I hear my coworkers brag about credit card points, it makes my head spin. How do you recommend discussing financial issues in casual social settings? Should I engage in conversation and try to be helpful, or just keep to myself? I'm going to tell you a story about what I don't do. And I learned it because I was around someone who did do it. So I'm mostly a plant-based eater. I don't eat meat. Occasionally I'll do some dairy. But I once knew somebody who was so heavy-handed with every situation. If she was in a situation when other people were eating meat, it was like, I can't believe you're eating meat. Like, this is the word. Like, how could you, right? And it's just such an off-putting, like, it was giving all of us a bad name. I was like, hey, you need to stop that. It's making all of us look bad. Because nobody likes to be beat over the head with something that they possibly don't agree with. And they didn't even ask your opinion anyway. And they don't really care what you do. And they like doing what they're doing, right? So I'm the type who, I mean, John, you know me, I don't really talk about, most of my friends are carnivores, and that makes them happy, and I'm fine with it, and I don't really mention it, and because I don't care, and they don't care, and we eat together, and we eat together in peace. And one day if John is like, hey, I noticed you never eat meat, tell me about that, then I'm happy to tell him about it, and I'm literally just sharing it from my perspective.
So I'm on the other side of this.
Tell me.
In 2012, there was rumblings in the nerd community, right, about the effect of ketogenic diets.
Got you. Okay.
So this is before they became mainstream and everything was keto.
Right.
I went down rabbit holes. I met with everybody I could. I talked to folks over at the med school, but I became the most annoying human who's ever lived. Someone could ask me a question about higher ed finance, and I'd figure out a way to turn it back into, you need to be eating a ketogenic. I was unbearable.
Were you?
I mean, I was the worst. And I'm bad now. I was so bad then. And so, I was wrong on a huge chunk of what I was preaching about.
Sure.
And I was unbearable, so annoying to be around. And so from that and a couple other things, I've just adopted a policy, which is I fail sometimes, but most of the time, I try to answer questions if you ask.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to people talking about how I do my money and look how much I make, I just smile.
All right.
And by the way, to everybody who thinks Dave is out lecturing his friends, Dave's friends lease cars. Dave's friends have credit cards. You don't hear him preaching about it. They know what he thinks about it, and he's their friend, and they're his friend. And so, and I joke about this. My oldest best friend on the planet is a banker.
Yes.
And here's what that means. That means every day he goes to work hoping I fail in my job on the Ramsey Show. And every day I go on the air hoping to put him out of business. And he's my best friend on the planet.
Yeah.
And so we disagree about this thing, and he loves my family and I love his family, and I love him and he loves me. And dude, I'll go to war for that guy and vice versa.
Yes.
We disagree about this, and we don't have to preach and fight and argue about it. Right? And all that.
And I'll go out on an even further limb, because in culture, and I know I'm opening a can of worms here, we can tend to vilify the folks who aren't on our same stratosphere. Like, we don't have the same opinions.
You don't vote like me. You don't this, and you got the shot, and you didn't get the shot. Like,
yes. So
it's madness.
Sometimes we can think, oh, if they're not doing it our way, they're wrong.
Yeah, or worse, they're evil,
or they're bad.
Yeah.
And the thing is, here's the thing: there's plenty of people out there, John, and they I know a few. They have the credit card. They pay it off every month. Do I agree with that? No, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't teach it. I wouldn't. Right. But they do it, and they're fine. They're not bad. They're not broke. They're doing fine. Now, plenty of them are broke.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
most of them are.
Let's do that. Right. But you got to just let people live their life. They're grown. Mm-hmm. You don't have to insert yourself. You don't have to. There's a lot of ways to do life out there, and people are doing just fine.
Yeah.
And if they're struggling, that's usually when you can sense that, and you can ask God to, or whatever you do to open up that opportunity to kind of share a little bit. But other than that, and I'm not saying that Jared is doing that. I'm really going out on a limb here. But just don't go out looking for
a fight.
That's it.
Yes. Like
looking to defend yourself.
The toughest guys I know, the guys who fought professionally, are the guys who will walk away and grab their wife's hand or grab their kid's hand and get in their car and go home because they got nothing to prove, right?
Right. They don't have to throw a punch every time.
I don't have anything to prove to you,
yeah.
Right? And so Jared, great question, and we've all dealt with this.
Yeah.
I would smile and let them just talk. And if they ask you, what's your opinion?
Nah,
then
I
you can say,
I don't mess with credit cards.
I don't play with credit cards. I don't want single moms who are struggling with overdraft bills to pay for my free flights. So I don't deal with.
See, now you already went deep really fast.
I went
deep really fast.
I'll say it, and it usually shuts up a conversation. But if you ask, I'll tell you. But dude, I want us to have a good time tonight. So run your mouth, and we can move on with our days.
Agree. I love it.
All right, let's roll out to H-Town and talk to Dean. Dean, I'm up against the clock, so get right to your question, brother.
Hey, how y'all doing?
We're doing good, man.
I'm kind of a little nervous. I'm going through a lot. I have $144,000 worth of debt, just myself. Me and my wife recently got married a year ago. She has about $12,000 worth of debt in student loans and $1,200 worth of debt in credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
I recently just wanted to start getting my life together. Me and her recently got saved, and I really felt a calling to really get my finances in order. And so I went ahead and paid off my car and paid off of my my credit card. And so I still have that $144,000 worth of debt. I'm having trouble getting my wife on board with me with this living debt free. She's not on board with it, so I'm kind of doing this all by myself. We agreed to have a wedding, and we recently last night just found out that she is pregnant.
All right.
And so now we have about $14,000 worth saved towards the wedding that we have probably agreed that we're not going to do the wedding anymore, at least right now. And so my question is, what do I do with my finances? Like, what position do you guys feel like that I am in my finances? And then also, how do I get across to her to be on board with me with this being debt-free thing?
So let me be clear. So if you guys don't do the party, like you don't do the wedding party, I still think you should get married
Go
on
to the
paper.
courtodhouse and get married.
Yeah, I think that's just going to solidify.
We're already married in the courthouse.
You're already married. Okay,
cool.
Fabulous. Okay. I love that you are interested in getting yourself together. You had a transformative moment, right? You had a moment, God shined down, you're like, I'm doing this thing, and ready, set, go. Sometimes when you have a moment like that, that's just a catalyst and you're just ready to go, you're assuming that the person next to you should just jump right into your level of excitement. And it's not always like that. And sometimes it's multiple conversations of you sharing your heart and sharing your fears for them to even be like, okay, I may not share your passion, but I'll go along with you on this ride until maybe one day I do.
That's me and my wife, Dean. As a Texas male, it's hard to sit down in front of your wife and say, hey, my past actions have led me to a point where I'm scared about our future.
Yeah.
Would you join me in this? And I'll tell you, like, if she's ride or die, like a good spouse is, my wife was like, I don't have that same fear that you have, but I'm in.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Hey, hang on the line. You asked us a couple of big questions, and I want to make sure we answer this thing all the way. I'm going to hold you over the break. We usually don't do that, but I'm going to hold you over the break. So hang on the line, and we will come back to you right after this commercial break.
All right, let's cut to the chase. It's easy to get discouraged about crazy house prices and interest rates. But when you have the right real estate agent to help you buy and sell the right way, you'll have confidence to make smart decisions. Ramsey trusted agents aren't just experts who guide you through buying or selling. They're people you can trust to have your back from the first call to closing day. Find a Ramsey trusted agent near you at RamseySolutions.com/agent. That's RamseySolutions.com/agent.
Are you sick and tired of working so hard but have nothing to show for it? That's normal. And normal is broke. You don't have to live that way. Our Every Dollar Budget app helps you find extra money every month and builds you a personalized plan to beat debt and build wealth. In just 15 minutes, you'll find thousands in hidden margin. You'll feel like you got a raise. Don't live normal when you can live like no one else. Start Every Dollar for free in the App Store or Google Play. All right. Right before the last break, I took a call from Dean in H-Town in Houston, and Dean is just realized he's got a ton of debt, recently married, got a new baby, just found out last night he's pregnant, him and his wife are pregnant, and he is trying to get his wife on board. He wants to get his financial house in order, and so we held him over. We're going to walk him through how to clean this mess up and get his feet underneath him. Dean, you there?
Yep.
All right, man. Thanks for hanging over the break with us. All right, we're going to walk you through the plan here on out. One question I got for you. What's this $140K? You said you got rid of your credit cards, you paid them off, you paid off your car. What's this $140?
It's all student loan debt.
All student loan debt.
It's federal. I have 99 in state.
Wow. Okay. What do you do for a living, brother?
I do real estate now. I went to school for business, but I recently got a job in real estate 2 years ago, and so I do real estate now.
What's your annual income?
Last year I made $65,000. This year, God has blessed me so much. I've already made $40,000 in the last 3 months, and if I stay on this pace, I'll be at like 125 to 150 if I can just continue on how I'm doing now.
Outstanding, dude. Really that means you're getting your feet under you in a wonky business, man. Congratulations, dude.
Yeah.
What about your wife? What's she earn every month or yearly?
She makes $40,000. She's a dental assistant, so she makes about $40,000.
Okay, so there's a couple things linked in here. Let's first talk about debt aside and paying off debt aside. How does she feel about combining your finances together and just saying, hey, we have one account, both of our paychecks go into it. You know, we have transparency. We make financial decisions together, like that whole bag. How does she feel about that?
She actually wants that. I've been the one that's hesitant to do that.
Why?
With our marriage, just because we just don't think about finances the same way. For instance, we recently had a conversation about the fact that she has a lease, and with me, she's leasing a car.
Right.
And with me kind of finding more out about finances, and she was just like, I'm not giving up my lease.
Right.
I like to have a new car every 3 years.
But let's take that. And, let's take financial philosophy off the table for just a second, and just the idea of combining to become one, and we're just going to do this thing together to have full transparency. Aside from, because it's going to take some time for you guys to have similar values, and you're never going to think the same. You're just going to have similar values. So if you just say, hey, I married this woman, I'm in it now. Could you be on board with, let's have transparency. Let's share. Let's do this thing together. And we're not talking about debt and plans yet. We're just combining our money. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah.
Let me put it this way. You've already combined DNA to make a human. the least you
Right.
can do is to combine your checking account, right?
Yeah.
Like you're already in it now.
Yeah, because we do have a joint account where we do bills, but we haven't done the whole thing. So
Yeah.
There you go.
I think that's your first step because we teach baby steps around here and we have 7 financial baby steps. But there's just, I think for you, there's even some smaller layers that we can get to that is just going to help you inch towards where you want to go. So I think tonight, that's the first conversation you have is it's not about paying off debt. It's not about accomplishing goals. It's just, hey, you know, we're married. We're about to have a baby together. Let's do this money thing together. I want us to jump in with both feet. I know we don't see eye to eye on certain things yet. That'll come later. But I just want to know that you and I are together on
We're
this.
one. Even if you got a budget for 6 months for the lease payment.
Yes.
Right.
It all goes on the budget.
You're all working together on the same team.
Because that's the first thing. You can't convince somebody to do what you want to do if you haven't fully committed
If
to
you
them.
won't do it. Yeah.
So the first step is we're committing that we are sharing our money. And let it marinate for a minute. Like, let it breathe. You don't have to, have this conversation tonight and then by Sunday you're already talking about paying off the debt, right? Get the money together. Let it breathe for a moment. And then while you're continuing to learn, because you're new to this too, then we can start having conversations about, okay, now that we see what our budget looks like, here's some of the things that I'm noticing with our budget. I've got a lot of debt and it is like eating up the majority of our margin. And you've got a lease. I've noticed that's something that I'm taking a note of, right? And you can start to say things that you're just noticing, and you can start to share things about how you're feeling. And again, let this unroll. It's okay that this takes a little bit of time. I don't think, John, I've ever had a financial conversation with Sam where we have opposing views or differing views. That happens in one conversation.
Never. Yeah, never.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So take that out of your expectation, because not only is this a delicate conversation, but you're newlyweds, right?
And you just both found out you're having a baby, right?
Yeah.
Like all this, you're a new person of faith. Like all this is new, right? So you think of this word in your head: practice. You've never done any of this stuff before. You're going to practice. Just like if you never shot a free throw before, you're going to get up there and look silly for the first few times, and you're going to keep shooting, and you're going to get better and better at it. That's what we're doing here. We're practicing. We're practicing this conversation. We're practicing like combining our lives together. We're practicing combining our money together. We're practicing, hey, how much do we need for groceries this month? We're practicing all these things.
And you have two and John, you jump in at any time. In my mind, you have 2 frameworks of conversation only. It's here's how I feel, and I've just been thinking about the future. Wouldn't it be cool if? And so you're just painting cool visions of the future that you see. Man, I can't keep thinking about I just keep thinking about what it would feel if I didn't have debt and if we didn't have debt. And I was actually thinking about that, and that would feel amazing, right? So all you're sharing is your feelings and your vision. Nothing that she has to do, nothing that she has to change. It's just you talking about you.
Bring it back to your childhood. I grew up in a house where my old man was always stressed about money. And I have a dream for our kid to never know that kind of stress.
Yeah.
If our kid makes the basketball team, I want to be able to get him the best shoes and not even think about it.
Yes.
Right. And so what you're doing is you're painting a picture. You're not lecturing with numbers. You get what we're saying?
Yeah. And that's very true for me too in my past.
It was for most of us. And you inviting her out for a half-day dreaming retreat on, hey, we're having a baby. Both of us come from this background, and she comes from that background. What do we envision us wanting our house to feel like when our daughter or our son comes home and they're 12? What do we want the house to feel like?
Right.
And we get to construct that. We get to build that up, right? And often, not always, but often, oh, dude, I care less about my car. I want my house to feel like that one day.
Yeah.
Right? And so, again, it sounds counterintuitive to put the money aside for a second, but let's dream and get a crystal clear picture of what our vision for our life wants to look like and feel like. And then it's just a matter of reverse engineering it, and let's just build that thing out.
Yeah, and Dean, I'm going to send you a copy of my book, What No One Tells You About Money, because it does a good job of when you're dealing with a framework like the baby steps, it shows how some people feel versus how other people feel. And I think it'll really help you get an insight as to the way she might be feeling, and it'll help you pinpoint how you might be feeling. And I think that's just really going to be good for you. Now, obviously, when it comes to the debt, when the time comes, when she's ready, when you're ready, yeah, I'm going to recommend the baby steps all the way. And we're going to make sure you're set up with every dollar. That's our wedding gift to you. We'll make sure you have every dollar. We'll make sure you have my book. We'll also give you Dave's book, The Total Money Makeover. We're just going to load you up because I want you learning and learning and learning. And what I want is that every time she looks at you, you've got a piece of our material in your hand or in your face. And she's like, dang, this guy is like, every time I look at him, he's got his face planted in Ramsey.
And you can look at her if she rolls her eyes at you, whatever, and say, honey, I'm in this with you for the long haul. And I'm going to change my family tree.
I'm going to make sure that you guys are doing well. I'm going to make sure we're successful.
Yeah, we got you, man. And hey, if it comes down to it, just tell her 2 goofballs on the radio gave you a year of the best budgeting app on the planet, every dollar, and invite her to use it with you because it was free.
Dave Ramsey here. Most people stay stuck with their money because they're not paying attention to it. Most people are living paycheck to paycheck, stressed out and broke. Don't be most people. You work way too hard to be broke and feel broke, and you deserve to have something to show for it. That's why we built the Every Dollar Budget app. It gives you a personalized plan for your money that shows you how to free up extra money every month and use it to beat debt and build lasting wealth. Plus, you get real coaches guiding you through your plan step by step. Look, most people hearing this will just keep hoping something changes, but not you. You're ready to make change happen. Starting now. Go download Every Dollar in the App Store or Google Play and start for free today.
Today's scripture is Proverbs 16:24. Gracious words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. Elizabeth Elliott says, Lord, deliver me from the urge to open my mouth when I should shut it.
Ooh.
Oh, man, I need to get that tattooed on my forearm.
I know that's right.
That's a good one right there.
It is.
Let's go out to Grand Rapids, Michigan, and talk to Emma. Hey, Emma, what's going on?
Hi, how are you?
We're doing great. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I have a question. My husband and I are on our debt snowball, so we're on baby step 2. And my husband has irregular work. So he is a flat rate motorcycle mechanic. So most of his money is made March, well, more like April through September. And then we take a big pay cut. So we looked at what the minimum is to live during the winter, and we kind of estimated that we need about $700 a month during the busy season to put into a sinking fund so that we would be good for the winter. But we were looking at the minimums. If we pay off what we think we're going to pay off in debt by September, then we wouldn't need any additional money because all of those minimums would be gone.
That's great.
So we're wondering, do we just make the sinking fund, and then if October comes and we don't need it, we just throw that to debt, or do we hold it just in case through the winter since there's no way to make really extra money for him?
Why is there no... I believe that there is a way that either of you can make $700 extra a month.
Yeah, teach me about flat rate motorcycle mechanic. What does that mean? I never heard that term.
So it's a form of commission, and so essentially, if you are billing, let's say it's the customer is billed 10 hours for a job. If you can do the job in 5 hours, you still get paid 10 hours worth of work. So you can essentially do 90 hours of work in a 40-hour work week.
Okay.
But there are no motorcycles being ridden really in Michigan in the winter.
Okay, gotcha. So it's kind of like y'all are farmers.
Yeah, so it's not like you can just magically make extra motorcycles come in.
But he could go.
Still has to be there.
Could he go work at a mechanic shop working on cars?
No, they're not. They're not the same, and he has to be at the motorcycle shop.
Right, but I'm thinking, okay, you're saying that $700 is the deficit monthly. I just believe
in the winter.
that in the winter,
yeah.
right? And I'm thinking of, I don't know, teachers or pastors or people who kind of, it's like, this is my main job, but I also need a side gig. $700 is not a scary number to go out and make for a month. And so I'm wondering, rather than you guys having to be like squirrels and it being at a detriment to your baby step 2, I just feel like you've got time between now and September to say, let's pinpoint work that we do in the winter months on top of what's already there for us to pull in $700. And I just think that that's a great practice anyway.
I mean, you're talking $2,800, right? Is it I guess the Michigan winter's 9 months long, right? How long are you talking?
Yeah, it's about 6 months.
Okay, so you need $3,600, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Or $4,200.
What do you do?
Me?
Yeah.
Ministry work.
Okay. So I gotta believe.
And I have 2 side hustles already.
Okay.
and
I'm capped out, and we have 4 kids.
Okay, so that's kind of what's making me think that there's more to this, because side hustles are there for like sprints. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want this to be something that's. I want you guys to be able to lock in and have this money without having to. Does that make sense? I don't want it to be a detriment to your baby step 2.
If you're a farmer, you work all year and you get paid in 1 or 2 big chunks, right? Mm-hmm. And so you have to budget those 2 big chunks as though and spread it out over the year. Mm-hmm. And so I'm with Jade. Like I would love to see y'all be able to say, okay, we need $4,200 extra dollars over the course of a year.
Yes.
Can we scratch and claw and figure that out? If you're telling us no, there's 0% chance. We're scratching and clawing to get to we only need $4,200 left. Then
it's very tight.
It's a matter of budgeting $700 in the good months and putting it into a sinking fund of $4,200, and we're going to withdraw from it for 6 months.
But we wouldn't need that if we do pay off the stuff we were planning on paying off. We just wouldn't be putting anything toward the snowball in those months.
That's kind of why I'm saying what I'm saying, which is why delay your snowball payoff if you can commit to by September, we're going to be debt free, but we also know that we might not have enough money. So during that next sprint, we can come up with ways to make an extra step if we need it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because
I hadn't thought about that.
If you continue to aggressively do your snowball, you're not setting aside the $700. By September, you're debt free, right?
No, we would just have we're looking at 24 months before we're debt free.
Okay. So then for 2 years, you have to fill the $700 gap. Right?
Well, no, we would just, so if we were to take off, we have 6 things we're thinking we're going to have paid off by September. Those minimums would be gone. Mm-hmm. And 2 of them are car payments. So it's quite a lot. That's $900 a month.
I think that's even more fuel in my mind
I would definitely do that.
Keep writing this out. Because again, if you pay off those few and you get those minimums back, great. But if you can keep your foot on the gas and you can say, hey, let's pick up whatever work we can until this all of the debt is completely gone. I would tell anybody to do that.
Okay.
And then once the 2 years is over, all the debt is gone, everything. Then you can do what John said, which is, yes, now we take our lump sum of money and we spread it evenly over the 12 months and we're good to go.
Are you worried that you're going to pay this debt off and suddenly you're going to have needed some cash?
Yeah, because we're just still trying to figure out the budgeting. And so the concern is there's no way to, for him to build the extra money. So that's the concern, is that it's kind of an unknown charted territory. Mm-hmm.
Now, I do feel like for irregular incomes, I'm thinking of people like realtors, where it's just like, I don't know month to month. It's always good to have a month's worth of expenses just sitting in your account. So essentially you're always a month ahead. In your case, that might benefit you guys. You might feel a lot better to just always have that money there, because if you don't know necessarily what's coming in month to month, then that's a great practice to have, right? Okay. And I would certainly do that, because in that case, you're just like any other volatile, kind of irregular person. It's like, if I don't know that I'm going to make my whole month, I want to know that the month is there. And I would do that. But beyond that, I would make sure my goal would be to not have to touch that money if that were the case.
Okay. Yeah, we're lucky because we do know a minimum of what he's going to make. So we have that figured out. He makes a bare minimum just for being there.
And is that enough to cover?
It's not. That's why it's $700 short. But that's if we don't have these payments. But if we pay the 2 cars off, that's $900 right there. That's gone.
Done.
Okay, so tell me about a good month. What happens? Obviously, what's a good month look like? How much over month? Does he go? Yeah.
Over what he like what the winter months are? Sometimes about $8,000.
Oh. So I feel like there's way more money on the table here. Yes. So you're telling me on the months where he goes like crazily over, that doesn't give you the $3,600 that you need?
It does, but we've been putting it toward the debt right now.
But I mean, and then some.
And then some, yes. So we've been putting it toward debt. So that's why all of it's going toward debt minus that $700 right now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, my advice doesn't change, but I think there's more money here than meets the eye.
Yeah. Okay. How long do you pay these cars off?
Well, we just paid one off today.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And then the next one will be paid off in 2 weeks.
That's exciting.
Oh, what? Emma, why are you calling us?
Because I'm not sure because it says the irregular income thing. So I got kind of hung up on that.
Well, you don't have an irregular income. You have a regular income.
Okay. It's just, it fluctuates significantly.
But the gross total is the same annually.
Yes.
Like you don't get paid every 2 weeks or every month, but you get paid a few times a year.
It gets paid every other week, but it can range by $30,000 a year.
But you know that range based on the time of month, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it for the Ramsey Show. Jade?
Yes.
Thanks for letting me sit in your shadow today. Remember, there's only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.